Anyway, what I really wanted to cover was regarding a recent video. Really, it's not just this one video, but it's this whole topic. Now we're at the stage with this COVID stay home order shutdown that we are starting to have all the new data coming out about the actual numbers. We have lots of health providers that are speaking out. There's a lot more political unrest. And so, as much as I've wanted to stay out of politics in my videos on health, I don't know how to disconnect the two, because it appears as though there's a common theme among a lot of the both people supporting their governors and their political persuasion. It shouldn't cross. It shouldn't be a political issue. Let me just put it that way. So recently, Dr. Erickson out of California and his colleague, the two doctors, looked at the data. They've been looking at the data, and they did a press conference. It's on video. Let me just say one thing that's of most concern to me. I have been one very critical of any kind of conspiracy theories. I'm sure there's ulterior motives when it comes to conventional health care, when it comes to governmental decisions. There's a lot of things that go into that in terms of industry, money, politics, etc. So there's some corruption. But I have never witnessed in my lifetime the amount of censorship that's going on in the public forums. Now, I realize places like Facebook and YouTube, these are privately owned. These are Google, this is Facebook. However, these represent our media in terms of freedom of the press. That's this outlet that, we as individuals have to both learn and communicate with one another. We don't have to wait weeks for a newspaper to travel across by horseback, right, or by telegraph. Now we have this information superhighway, but it is being censored and filtered at an alarmingly high rate. And I'm seeing it. I have done screenshots and downloaded and recorded videos that then are later deleted. And if the government or whoever's in control doesn't like, then we're not talking about offensive material. We're talking about the critical evaluation of science, human health, and life, as we know it. So while we can have streaming pornography and obnoxious, demeaning, violent videos, you can go to YouTube, Netflix. You can on your video from your Comcast carrier, whatever, you can watch whatever trash you want. But for some reason, when we want to talk about things that really matter, it's being filtered, and it's just we just need to do something about this. I know there's a lawsuit going on by Prager University against YouTube for filtering. This goes way beyond COVID. This was happening because they happen to be a conservative and very grounded educational video series. Yes, it's conservative, but that's a valid political viewpoint, as is others. We can listen to every voice out there. There's nothing offensive. There's nothing that doesn't back up what it says. So to COVID-19, now we have seen an unprecedented control of information. That's number one, my biggest concern. Secondly, we have the rampant harm that's resulting from this shutdown. Like a lot of other people and my colleagues, when this started, we were as concerned as everyone else, and we were advising caution. We stopped doing in-person appointments. We were doing more cleaning. We had to go through the routines of how we get groceries. And it's just gotten, as we've learned more and more, we've learned a tremendous amount of information about what this is and what this isn't. This was not the rampant death and destruction. This is, in all accounts, when we look at the science, it is a novel virus, but it is not any more lethal than a lot of the other flu seasons. It does behave differently than the flu in terms of the epidemiology, the way that the virology, how it attacks the body is a little different, and I've been talking about that in my videos. But to be forcing healthy people out of their jobs and forced in their homes, people being kicked out of parks, shutting down the things that matter to people, their children's athletic activities, Little League, my daughter's gymnastics, mountain bike races. I mean, this is personal, and I realize I'm willing to give things a back seat when it comes to life and death, but we have been misled, and our government isn't backing down and looking at the data and saying, okay, let's act on the information we have now and make the changes that are appropriate. Instead, we have this fear mongering and this continuing of keeping people shut down and locked down in their homes, and this gradual, it's almost like they're trying to save face. Well, it's what they're doing. Instead of realizing it and saying what the real data, instead they're getting stricter. Oh, now we're going to require masks. Oh, now you can't, people in some states, they're saying you may not be able to go resume normal life without a vaccine. Now we have antibody testing. So the point is that I'm just asking that anyone out there who still thinks this is this death waiting to kill any innocent victim, that is not what this is. This, yes, it preys on those vulnerable people who have immunodeficiencies, who have comorbidities, and who are immunocompromised, and that's not news. This has always been the case for infectious diseases. We should take precautions for those people, but we cannot shut down our society and destroy lives. We are causing death and destruction and poor health to a much higher degree now than we are preventing by continuing the lockdown. So anyway, in the state of Washington, I am sending messages to my representative officials. I would ask you to do that, to the governor's office. We also are having a peaceable gatherings and rallies that are happening in Spokane. I realize that's going to anger some people, but I would ask you to stop being dominated by fear and to act on fact. So this Friday at 3 at Spokane here County Courthouse here in Spokane, there's going to be a peaceable gathering rally there. Last I checked, there's others across the state and across the country that are going on. And again, one person, what do we do? How do we make a difference? Well, it's by reaching out and talking to people, getting the facts out. And I'm just one voice. I've spent the majority of my life now in the sciences and in the health industry, and so I don't take it lightly in what I would say and recommend. And I've analyzed this, and it's something is not right in what our public health sources are telling us and what the reality actually is. So anyway, please do what you can and stay safe.